DYU mini folding 14-inch tire e-bike. And this thing is so cute looking and small. It's just funny. What this does, this kind of bridges the gap between an e-scooter and a e-bike. So if an e-bike might be too much for you, or you don't want to stand up on a scooter, this is something that might fit the bill for you, getting a small mini e-bike. So what I'm going to do in this video, everybody, is I'm going to go over the specs of this thing first. Then I'm going to do like a walkthrough of the components, starting at the back tire, and just kind of work my way forward. And I will leave chapters below if you want to skip to any part in the video. And then what I'll do is do a ride test and do a speed test, and then come back and do a final thought. So yeah, let's get into the walkthrough and the testing now. Start with the specs of this thing. So number one, it's a rear drive hub motor. It's a 250 watt hub motor, and it's a single speed, as you see right here. There are no gears, so that means you don't do any type of shifting or anything like that. And the battery is contained in here. It is a non-removable battery, and to charge this thing, you're gonna have a little hole right here that you're going to lift up, and that's where you charge it. It was supplied with a 1.8 amp hour charger, and this is a 36 volt 10 amp hour battery, and the claimed range on this battery right here is anywhere from 15 to 35 miles. Now this is a throttle, so this has a throttle control, and because there's 3 modes of operation with this, you can use the pedals, which is on 0, or you can use pedal assist, just use throttle completely, and then that's where you can get between 15 and 35 miles of range on it. So pedal assist, maybe up to about 45 miles of range on pedal assist. And by the way, there is no adjustment in speed. You're just either full on pedal assist or you're not. So you get to choose which one you want. So just to note, this thing is folding. The handlebars do fold down right here. You just pull this lever and they fold down, but there's no middle fold point. You really don't need it, because when these handlebars are folded down, this thing gets really small, and it can fit in a car or like a hatchback or a van or something like that very easy. The total weight on this thing is around about 40 pounds. When I picked it up, you know what? It doesn't even weigh that much. I can carry it one-handed like carrying a suitcase, and I'm right at about 5'11", and I fit on it very good. You know, I can stand on it and my feet touch the ground, but the seat can easily come up far enough to make me where I can ride it comfortably. I'm gonna do kind of a rapid fire on the components. When I got this thing in, it was very nicely packaged. The only thing I had to do was put the pedals on, and believe it or not, the seat and maybe this light right here, and it was good to go. It was just out of the box, it was ready. The handlebars mount right here. They were very simple to install. Everything was pretty much, this thing was 99% built out of the box. I was on the road in about 15 minutes. They are pneumatic tires, and they're 14 by 2.1 inch tires back here. It came with a fender, so it's got a little plastic fender that's on it. Like I said, this is a single speed, and when you want to adjust it, you just turn this bolt right there. You'll turn that bolt, and that's how you'll adjust your chain if you want to tighten it. I got mine. I tightened it up a little bit when I first got it, but you know what? It was almost good right out of the box. The pedals are a folding pedal, but what you do, you pull on this lever right here, and then it folds up like this. So pull and then fold. So they do fold up for transport when you're like throwing it in the back of a car or a trunk or something like that. It came with a little taillight that you'll have to put on there. You can see there's several molds of the taillight. And for these things, this is about adequate for what you need. The seat adjustment, you will have to put the seat in. It basically has got that lever that you'll just kind of like adjust right here. Easy to go up and down. The seat was surprisingly comfortable on this thing. It has some cushion. The weight capacity on this thing is 265 pounds, so they can recommend someone up to 265. 160 millimeter mechanical disc brakes on both the front and back. You can see the front and back right there. They're adjustable right there. They stop really well. These, you know, mechanical brakes will stop on something this small. You're probably not going to be going that fast anyway. You do have a little kickstand. Check that out. Cute little kickstand that's mounted right there. This thing does have a headlight on it. You're going to turn it on right up here. There's a button right there that you turn the headlight on. So that thing, and it's integrated in. Look at that, they've integrated it into the frame. That's my mount for my cell phone. It mounts in there, so it doesn't come with that, so disregard that. This thing has an adjustment. You'll lift up on that. I have it exactly where I want, and all that does is tilt the bars the way you want it. If you want it more down or more up. So the lower I get, the higher, the more I want to rotate this back, the higher I get. That's why mine's at kind of like a 45, so I can grab a hold of it right there. This thing is a twist throttle. You can see right there is a full twist throttle, not a half throttle. So it's almost like a full motorcycle, which is kind of hilarious considering the size of this bike. You have a bell right there. The brake levers, the back brake is on the left-hand side. So that's the back brake right there, see that? And the front brake is on the right-hand side, which is a little different than what we usually see here in the US. This is more kind of an overseas thing. It's more of a European standard on that. But you know what? It works just fine with me. You get used to it pretty fast. I use both brakes all the time anyway. And here's the power button over here. And to turn this thing on, you pretty much mash it once. So it's a series of dots that go 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's 4 dots, and it's got low and high. And what this is, as soon as you turn it on, it's going to tell you about what your battery percentage is. So you see I'm all the way at the top. That means I've got full battery. When you see this start going down, it'll let you know. So yeah, I get it. There's not a lot going on. There's not a speedometer. There's not a battery percentage or anything like that. But you know what? It's worked just fine for me. When I see it getting down to 1 dot, that usually tells me to start heading back or get it charged. Let's get on this thing. I'll put my phone in here and we'll do a speed test. And let's see what the top speed of this thing is and kind of see how it is while it's riding on the trail. I'm out here on a bike trail, so I'll go ahead and let's put this thing through its paces on the trail here. So let's get to riding now. Okay, we'll go ahead and load the speedometer here, lock that down, turn it on, hit the button, and we are off. So one thing that I noticed right away, this thing has like a slow takeoff to it. I'm going to use throttle only. Woo, it is zippy. That thing is zippy. Look at this. I don't know if you can see in the camera, but it seems to hold about 14 to 15 pretty easy. And that's with this cadence. It does have a cadence sensor in it, so that means it's gonna go, however, like as long as I'm pedaling, the motor will go. It's a 250 watt motor, so it's not gonna be like a big beast, but it seems to hold very well. Let's see how fast we can get it up to. You seem to start ghost pedaling at about 15 to 16, and their claimed range, I think, is 15, so they're almost spot on. So it seems like I'm holding my arms really straight. The handlebars are very close together, so the grips are very close, but I think that's total fine for what it is, being a little bike like this. The thing is, it just kind of like buzzes around. Think of this thing as like a mosquito going around the trails. That's what it should have been called, the DYU mosquito. Okay, let's check it out. Throttle only. Straight throttle. 14, 15 carrying my weight. I'm around about 185, and it's holding my weight really well. It's pulling me at 15 miles an hour. Let's go through this little area over here. The tires seem to be fairly grippy. Like I said, it kind of feels like, this thing feels kind of like riding a scooter meets an e-bike. So the tires are gonna act a lot like a scooter tire. They seem to handle this fairly well. This is some compost piles back here. I don't want to try to run into one of them. All right, let's try the brakes out on this thing. Let's see how fast we can get it going. You want to be careful and don't squeeze the right one too much because you will go over the handlebars. So grab the back. Woo! And I think because it's so light is the reason it stopped so quick. So with these small handlebars, you got to remember the turning radius is very, very tight. So be careful on that. Do more leans like you would a scooter. So like, let's say I want to turn real quick. I can turn it, then go in the opposite direction pretty fast. And I can ride a wheelie on this thing very easy because it's so light in the front. But I don't want to go over backwards. I got things to do this weekend. Everybody, I think realistically, this is something just to kind of get out and cruise around on. You're not going to be winning any speed competitions. You're not going to be hitting any jumps. But if you just want to cruise around the park or get out on the bike trail like this, let's see if it can carry me up this hill. Everybody, this is probably about a 10% incline, 9 miles an hour up this. Can we go to 10 on a 10? Oh, this is full throttle. Let's see if oh, it is. It's 10 miles an hour up this incline. Okay, there it is, everybody. That's the speed test and overall ride test and stopping test of this thing. So yeah, let me go back and let's do our final thoughts now. Okay, there it was, everybody. There's the full walkthrough and the ride test of this little thing. I got this thing up to 17 miles per hour top speed on that thing, and it seems to pull my weight very well. I took it through water, took it through a little bit of mud. I think it's a cool little bike, and it's one of those things where you got to be pretty confident in yourself to ride something like this, because look how tiny it is. This thing is, look where my kneecap is. My kneecap's right there. That's how big this thing is. I think this would be great for anyone that just wants to get around the park and just kind of like hang out for the day, not doing like super fast or anything like that, just kind of like riding around the park or on a campus. I think it's great for that. I will leave a link below where you could pick one of these up and some of the gear that I had on today. But overall, I'm gonna ride this thing. I think it's cool. See y'all in the next video.